Hello, guys. This is the Wings Mobile Detailing Podcast, and this is podcast number 49, a recording on the business topic of what does it actually really take to grow multi-million dollar or multi-billion dollar company. And I'm recording this podcast based on not only many books that I read, but after studying many other business owners, entrepreneurs who they've grown a multi-billion dollar business themselves, multi-million dollar, they have a huge team, and you see those people, sometimes they are super rich, and that does not matter because they're still sleeping in the company floor. And part of it is what it really takes to grow a company that big, besides all the hustle, the grit, and the want. You gotta want something so bad that when the hard days come, and they will come multiple times, multiple setbacks, you have to want it really bad. That's the only way. You have to have the passion, and that's the only way that you're going to actually truly be able to pass through those hard times and get off to the other end. The persistence, grit, the will to do it, you have to want it really bad, and that's how you get to the other side. Stay with the introduction here now.
Welcome to the Wings Mobile Detailing Business and Automotive Podcast, the only podcast that will guide you on how to start and grow six-figure companies. As our team expand from one business location to worldwide domination, you will get step-by-step insights from a millennial franchisor and franchise owner with your host, Andre Mezzalera.
So first, before you continue to listen to this podcast, I'm going to ask you one thing, to ask yourself a question. And depending on your answer, this podcast may be completely worth for you to continue listening to. And if your answer is number one, it may not be. So ask yourself this question. Are you willing? It's not about wanting. Everybody want riches. Everybody want to grow a huge business and be CEO. Everybody wants to work for a company where they're growing all together as a company, to go in acquiring massive levels of wealth. Everybody wants that. But are you willing to go through that? Do you want it so bad that you're willing to go through huge setbacks and living a life of a thrilling roller coaster ride that every day there are ups and downs, highs and lows? You're getting smacked in the face. You're receiving no's every day, but you have to go through it. You're feeling tired, but you're still required to work while you're feeling tired. You're not able to, let me take it easy today because I feel tired. So if you're willing to go through all of that, this podcast is for you. If you consider yourself more of a normal person, of an average, and don't take this the wrong way. I don't mean average, and it might be bad ways for some, it may be a good thing for others. Some people want to be average. Some people want to be like what is average, like everybody else. Live a regular life. Take off on weekends, but they will have, average results. They're gonna have just what everybody else has, middle class average results. If those are the results you want, the average, it's okay. But this podcast may not be for you. I'm gonna go over what does it actually take when you're being great, what you have to actually do on your daily basis to go through what you're willing to pick. First of all, if you are on number 2 and you already made the decision and you know that it's not about which if you're a company owner, if you're not a company owner, if you're deciding to be part of a company where it's growing, it doesn't matter. This decision is for you, and wherever you are, you're gonna take the same mindset and you can grow anywhere. Obviously, if you're working for a company as being part of the team and you're growing together, then you have to give your best, and you have to find a company that is actually growing to high levels of success to meet the person who you really are. You're not going to be able to survive in being an average inside a company who's looking to grow huge with massive goals, with massive levels, and working hard. So definitely pick, but it's not about, you have to be an entrepreneur, or you have to start this business, or you have to be an employee of this company to grow success. No. It applies to everything. It applies to whatever you're doing in life. You can make a decision 1 or 2. And a lot of people are mistaking that. A lot of people are saying, oh, I take shortcuts. I wanted riches. I wanna have this. I wanna have that. I wanna have a big company. But they're throughout this process, they're taking shortcuts, trying to find, by shortcuts I mean trying to find other ways that is easier for them to get there. And there's no such thing. Nothing's easier. Oh, I'm gonna do this instead because I think it's easier for me to get this money and this freedom, which money brings freedom. And then you're not putting the work. You're not putting in what is required for you to grow big. When I say the example of sleeping in the company floor, what I mean by that is actually you do have to put that into perspective. Sleep in the company floor is not just, oh, you have to sleep there because then you're going to be able to grow big. No, it is required that you go through all this trouble, all this issue, all this headache, all these uncomfortable situations continuously, all that doubt. When you're working hard, you're going to have so many doubts that you're not going to be able to acquire what you want, because it's going to seem so far away. Maybe you walked 5 steps up, and then in business you go through setbacks where you have to go down 10 steps, and then again you walk 8 steps up, and you're all excited. That's why it's a roller coaster, we call it. And if you're working for a company, that's the same way. And then you have to go down 5 steps, go down 10 steps, and then you eventually, if you keep persisting, if you keep going after it, not looking for comfort, not looking for easy shortcuts, then you're going to start walking 10 steps, 15 steps. You're going to be growing exponentially. And that's how the growth comes. But first, there are all those years of struggle, those years of feeling uncomfortable, and it will pay back. And one more thing, aside from the hard work, is avoiding all the negative people who only bring that bad aura around you, those excuses. So we have to avoid this type of people and stay inside a state of great ambition. Stay around people who fits that state of ambition that you have. Unfortunately, that's harder to find. Unfortunately, that's why they say successful people sometimes they go up not by themselves, but they go up feeling lonely, this journey, because it's not the majority of people around you who has that ambition that you have. Consequently, it's not the majority of people also who is having the same thrilling excitement, positivity, happiness every day when you are growing a business. This is what growing a business brings. It brings a lot of setbacks, but it also brings so much fulfillment that the majority is not getting the fruits of their labor, of feeling fulfilled, of feeling happy, of doing one task and doing the other, or somebody that's working for a company who is growing and they're giving their all. And same thing, they're going to get more fulfilled. They're going to have ups and downs, but overall, they're going to have the growth. I'm talking about during the process. After the process, after they reach a bigger point, that's going to be even better. But that's why it's so easy to stay average. That's why, because it's so easy to find people around you who pushes you to the comfort. It's so easy to find people who, when you're going through the hard times, that they can push you to the easy part. And you don't have to do this, you can take it easy here and still, grow over there. No, you can't. But unfortunately, that's the majority of people. So don't take your eye off the ball. Don't take your eye off of your vision, your grow, what do you want to achieve. But most importantly is why you don't take your eye off the ball is you understand that those people are going to come. The average people, you're surrounded by average, but you have to kind of filter that out and know to yourself that yes, you are supposed to not take the comfortable route. You're supposed to take the controlled, risky way that makes you work hard, makes you go through setbacks. You're supposed to go through that, but for you to be able to go through that, Stay away from those people with a negative aura. You can just feel it. You can feel those people who has that negative, where you just walk in, you don't feel that ambition within you. People who make excuses, they can't do this because of that. That's what the majority of people are doing. The moment that you don't take your eye off the ball, and you know that anything that you say that makes you think, oh, it's not possible, I don't need that, or there's an easier way, there's an easier shortcut, you have to realize that you cannot have those excuses within you. And that's when you're going to be able to start making it in life, and be prepared for those hard times when they come, and also be prepared for the fulfillment that you're going to get. So you must love the process. Otherwise, you won't see the purchase. Put all your focus into the hustle every single day of your life. Willing to go through failure multiple times a day. That's what will happen. By failure, I mean not necessarily, oh, you failed the company, or you went, all the bad things that happens. But by failure, I mean receiving no's. You're trying one thing in the company, it's like, okay, yes, I'm growing, it's working out. You're working for a company that you're doing something, and you feel like your job is actually being paid back, and you're feeling all excited. But then suddenly it's just, you step back and you have to start sometimes all over again. Not sometimes, but a lot of times all over again. But this is what it takes. If this is what's happening, if you're going through failures, setbacks, successful, fulfillment, thrilling, feeling that thrilling ride, but then again, you're feeling like, oh, you have to step back again. And that is supposed to happen. Put that in your mind. This is supposed to happen, and that's the only way how I'm gonna achieve success. If everything's going smooth, 1 year go by, 2 years go by, your company is just growing, cash flow, it's coming, actually monetary, and in a financial perspective is also growing every single year. Everything's just great. That's when you should worry. Because the wave will come, and if you only have years of successes, when the wave comes, you may not be prepared because you're so used to all the success, and you've been doing something wrong. If you can already start your first few years in business and you're driving the most beautiful car ever, you have everything great, you're living like a life of glamour. In the only first few years, something's wrong. That's not how you're supposed to live life. And when the wave comes, it's going to come hard, and you're not going to be prepared for it because you're already accustomed to have all the nice things. And that's the wrong way of taking the business. So know to yourself, avoid those excuses, avoid listening to aside from excuses, from like shortcuts. Try to put it in your mind that, oh, I'm going to do it this way because I think this is the better way. No, you're just making excuses not to go through the hard work, and you have to go through the hard work. Willing to go through failures. An example of failure, and it is what it takes, is when you do cold calling, when you start a business. I personally, it's a mobile detailing company, and I had to go in the first few years in business, door knocking, cold call people, go to dealerships, try to sell the services out to them. And the way I trained myself, because I'll always read books nonstop, I would write down the objections that they would make for me, why they wouldn't need my services. But I would still get no's. And I'll train on myself. And whoever I train as sales, I tell them, you're succeeding in sales right here if you receive 10 no's and 1 yes. So when you walk through each door to try to sell your service, go in expecting a no. You're going to receive a no. Go for a no. Because if you only go expecting a yes and then you receive the no's, you're going to think something's wrong. But no, something's wrong is if you're not getting the no. Obviously, from the no's, you work yourself, study, always work around to try to make that a yes. You always look for the reason why you received a no to try to turn that around. And not look at the no's and say, oh, this is normal. I'm supposed to get no's, so I'm just going to continue doing this and not learn. Don't make that excuse that it's okay. Let me go to the next one. No, you go to the next one, but you learn why you received a no. So if your company grows big and you think you'll be able to also task delegation, so you don't have to work. So there's another fallacy, broken mentality that people say that, oh, I want to grow a company, you should delegate your tasks, because I want to delegate this task because I don't want to have to work this hard anymore. I want to pass this task to something else. That's not how it. That's far away from the reason why you're delegating the task from your company. You're delegating the tasks because then you're gonna be able to get in more work on something else that's more valuable to you at that time. And same with your employees. If you're an employee of a company and you're working for a great company which is growing, you're gonna get that task of hand which you're gonna be responsible for. But if the company is growing, you're always gonna get new tasks. Sometimes you have to go back, set back to the previous task, but you're gonna have new task, and then somebody else is gonna do that task that you used to do for you because you're more valuable in the company. And when you delegate, you're delegating, and there's a time to delegate. You don't want to do it too soon, and you don't want to do it too late. And you don't want to delegate a task so you can just sit yourself down in the beach and not work. You're asking for your company to go downhill. You're delegating a task because you see another task that's more valuable for you to do at that time. And when you delegate, you have in your mind, okay, I'm delegating, but shit, I'm going to work 10 times harder now because I'm going to get myself with 5 more other tasks. It's always work. Work is always going to increase. If you're a company owner and you grow your business to multi-million dollar size, it's going to be fulfilling. It's going to be thrilling if you have a huge headquarters, or if you work for a company where you're up high there, you grew with the company in a huge headquarters, whatever the situation is. It's these entrepreneurs, these people who work there, they are always being fulfilled, but they're not saying, oh, next year I'm gonna be able to chill and take it easy. Because once you start taking your eye off the ball, no matter the size that you're in, no matter if you have a huge headquarters, once you start taking your eye off the ball, this is a long game, this is your life's game. Then once you start taking your eye off the ball, all people around you who you delegated the task for is going to start to slack away. If you slack, they're going to slack away. So, of course, when you're in a company that you grew inside a company, or you're the company owner, it doesn't matter. You're going to have different tasks throughout this process. Of course, you're going to have more. It's going to be easier later on. It's not going to be as hard as the first few years, the first 5 or 10 years. It's not going to be as hard. But you're still going to have your eye in the ball. You're still going to have to focus, keep the same positivity, stay around the same positive people, and above all, stay inside and be available, being present 24/7. Of course, you're going to have more time. If you don't want it to be present, you don't necessarily would have to if your company is big enough. But if you think that you're growing, so one day you don't want to be present at all, you just want to let it free flow, you might as well quit now, because you fall short. And when you fall short later, when you're big, it will hurt more. So if you're growing big and you think, okay, I can slack off and I can just take it easy, everybody else around you will take easy. You're gonna have management team if you have a big team. But if you grew your company big, you're probably not gonna have this mentality. You're probably gonna have a better understanding to not think this way. If you're able to grow a company this big with this amount of managers, you wouldn't want to quit after you grew it that big. You wouldn't be able to grow a company that big if you don't want it that bad. And if you want it that bad, you would not want it to quit. So guys, one goes hand in hand. We can use a huge example of even Steve Jobs, We can use a huge example of Jeff Bezos, for example. He's there in the company. He's always figuring things out. That's his vision. That's what he loves to do. There's the thrilling ride of roller coaster, all the setbacks, which happens continuously. You plan something this month, and then 1 week goes by. It feels like 6 months of setback, and then you have to start over. But this starting over process, if you have in the right mentality, it's good. It hurts. It's difficult, but you have to go through that. So that makes you go through that, and then 1 week goes by, you're living in the most fulfilling place ever. 1 week go by of a little bit of excitement, and you see the growth, a growth that you didn't expect. That happens. That's how it happens in business. Or if you're working in a company where it's growing, sometimes the growth comes that you don't even expect it to grow that good when you look a year behind. It's like, damn shit, like, yo, this, look where we are now. But then again, if your vision's big enough, you're gonna be like, oh, cool, look where we are now. Look at all still the potential that we have to achieve. You're always gonna be focused on the potential ahead of you, if you are one of those who thinks big. So yeah, it is good. It's gratifying. You're gonna be grateful for what you achieve, but you're gonna be more satisfied to look of what you have yet to achieve, and things that you haven't achieved yet, but that you know the potential that you can get there. And this is pretty much it. The working hard is there. If you're able to grow a business big enough, you know that's your life. Growing the business, that's what you like. Some people like to just fish all day, go fish in the pond. It's fine. And then you're probably gonna be able to do that. If you want it that bad, you fight for it. You go after it. In the setbacks, you have a big purpose other than financially. You're gonna get there. But this is what it takes. And this is what all the guys with big companies, all employees who've working for big Fortune 100 companies, and they've been, there and being part of the company, they grew inside along with all the teammates. This is what it takes, and it's the most exciting thing once you see the growth, once you see the fruits of your own labor inside the company. It's exciting. There's no excuse making, no shortcuts. There's no better way. If you decide to take a shortcut, be ready to just lead an average life. If you start taking the route of, oh, I want to do this because this is better, or I don't want to do this because I don't think it's gonna work because of this and that, giving excuses, just quit overall, because you're living a life of average, of less fulfillment, and even more stressed, believe it or not. Even more stressed, because that's not you. Everybody wants to have the fulfillment. Everybody wants, the human body was made to actually grow, to continue finding out new things and going through hard times so that they can appreciate the good ones. And this is what we're meant to be. This is what we're meant to do. And that's why I think everybody should avoid as much as they can the average route. But there are homeworks, there are things that you have to do to avoid those. And these are the things. Things is for you to avoid. Excuses. Try to look for the easy route. Expect it to be hard. And be happy with the journey, because your purpose is big. Thank you so much, guys. This is the Wings Mobile Detailing Podcast. Today, it was recorded with a video as well on YouTube, under the channel, under Mr. Leary. If you're listening to this on iTunes, Spotify, and subscribe, leave a review there, whatever you thought. And this was quite a long podcast, but thank you so much for listening.